First off, early season, I think that it's been okay. I do want to mention something to go ahead and get it out the way and then discuss what you want to talk about. You had mentioned in your SHUKC preview as far as what Schlagle should be this year, this and that, things of that nature. And one of the things you did mention talked about one of our players, Jordan Young, and you criticized him, and you said that last year his season could be best described as challenging or as a challenge. So I wanted to voice that, kind of take up for my guy.
That's fair.
He was a leading scorer on the team, first of all, by far the best defender. And last year, he was the only guy that wanted to play defense. He was Defensive Player of the Year. He was a Newcomer of the Year. He was also Team MVP. So challenging, I don't think those stats and challenging goes in the same deal. So that's that, me taking up for my guy.
That's fair.
All right. So with that being said.
Hold on. So would it be fair to say early in the year he's 20-point, 30-point games and kind of offensively, maybe not challenging, but he went through a struggle period? Would that be?
He definitely went through a struggle period. He definitely has. And that's fair to say. But when you and again, everything's based on wording. So when you word it saying that his year was challenging, in my opinion, and in Schlagle land opinion, that's false.
I would say probably. I'll speak for myself here. Expectations are high for Jordan and for Ladarius too, because I think I'm nitpicking because they're very good players and you have high expectations. But I'm a Schlagle alum, so I want to see wins be the bottom line of what we're looking for too. So again, what you're saying is 100% fair, but I have very high expectations for the very best players, especially the captains on the team too. So I would hope that you don't take it personal. I want to see you do real well. I'm a good friend with your dad, so I obviously have high expectations for you and what you do. So,
and we totally get that. And I would tell you the opposite. I would tell you to take it personal.
Yeah.
I would tell
Chalkboard.
you to prove the city wrong. This is what the city thinks about you in a whole. And Mr. Brox is the spokesman for the city. So prove him wrong at the end of the day.
Do that.
The good thing, though, I will say, I admire you coming in, taking up for your guys, and we actually need more coaches to do that. We actually spoke a couple of years ago about the guys who were snubbed over at Wyandotte, and everybody was kind of quiet on it. So I appreciate you coming in, sounding for your players.
Absolutely.
And I feel comfortable saying it because I know you guys aren't going to take it personal.
Right, absolutely.
It's just, like you said, standing up for my guys. And I have faith in these guys at the end of the day.
Hey, I said at the beginning there'll be some chalkboard material in there to talk about. So hey,
and we love it.
Yeah.
Little do you know, man,
Yeah.
your picture and a couple of quotes is in our locker room.
There you go. There you
but
go.
Hey, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. Honestly, we want to find anything to motivate us to get us over this hump. So starting off the year, we played a Warrensburg team. We did really well, figuring we only played 6 players. We just had some discipline issues, guys missing practice, so we had to kind of set that tone and sit out a couple of key guys. So we rolled with 6. One of those 6 was a freshman, and he ended up having 10 points, and we ended up pulling that game out. That was a good first win for us. Second game was against St. Joe Benton. They're very improved this year. I saw them on a circuit this summer playing a lot of ball. They got some really solid ball players. 4 minutes to go in the game. It was a tie ball game, and they just flat out toughed us, 16-2 to end the game. And that showed us we obviously have to get more mentally tougher. And the final game against Pembroke Hill, they had a dynamite point guard. We ended up losing that game by 3 points. As we're kind of stressing to the guys this year, our talent will keep us in every ball game that we have, but we have to get more mentally tougher. And when we say mentally tougher, we're talking about the defensive end. We have to get tougher defensively. And everybody wants to score 30, and that's great, right? You need those guys. But we need 5 guys that want to get a stop each and every defensive possession. And that's kind of what we're really working toward. You know, we start practice on defense, we end it on defense. We drill defense into these guys' skulls so they can understand. Do you want to be a mediocre team and let your talent, you know, take you 500, or do you want to be special, you know, and play hard and win by playing defense?
So, Ladarius, let's start off with you. Let's talk a little bit about some of your expectations that you have for this team as, you know, one of the returning leaders.
My expectations? Well, first you got to buy into the defensive end. So that's really it.
What about you, Jordan?
My expectations for this year, for it being my senior year, and we having a lot of guys that played varsity last year, I expect us to really do a lot more than we did last year and get more wins. And I want to see the younger guys, like my point guard here right now, step up more. And so far, he's been playing very well. I just want to see him keep improving as I end up graduating this year. And I just want to go out the way I want to go out, successfully.
And I apologize. Who's the young man on the right?
Ronell.
Ronell, talk about taking over at point guard from senior last year and kind of what you think your role is on this team.
Actually, Ronell is a sophomore.
Oh, sophomore.
He started the second half of the season for us as a freshman, so he is a returning starter.
Okay. Just talk about your goals for the underclassmen on the team with a couple of senior captains. Talk about your role on the team and how you try to get in and fit in with your skills.
I'm just a point guard. I'm trying to control the floor. That's it. That's all I want to do.
So talk about this league race coming up within the league. You guys, I look at you guys as the favorite because of what you guys got coming back. Do you guys see yourselves as the favorite in this league, and how do you plan? What are your goals for, facing out some of the teams within the city?
Dominique Sanders here. He's a junior.
Well, to be honest, I think if we play defense, period, come out strong, and then finish strong, nobody can mess with us, really, to be honest. That's it.
Coach, coming into this season, what were some of the goals that you had laid out for the squad?
Coming into the season, it's to be honest with what we have, and if these guys buy into the defensive end, we want to play in the Topeka Expo Center in March. So that's our goal. End of the day, league would be great, yeah, but that's really I think a secondary goal in our minds, wouldn't you say, guys? We kind of want to play in Topeka at the Expo Center at that stage, because the way we feel mentally is if we can compete. Well, just to be honest, if we can compete versus suburban teams, then we can compete in the inner city. So our goal, and you got to beat suburban teams to get it down to Topeka, Lansing. Well, I guess Highland Park's not a suburban team, but Highland Park, I guess a school up the street's not a suburban team. So it kind of defeats what I'm talking about here. But at the end of the day, to be a solid program, we have to beat suburban teams.
So you're a few years now into it as head coach. Where do you think where you are as a program, and do you think you're getting your stamp on this team and how it looks and how it plays?
I like where we are as a program. This is the start of the fourth year. First year, inherited players, had a good solid year, played the game to go to state. Last 2 years, breaking the program down, building it back up. Right now, I think we have enough talent in the building to do what we need to do as far as to win. Now it's just about getting over that hump and learning how to be a winning program. To be honest, I thought we would do that last year, but it proves that you got to go out there and you still got to play. You picked us for league, but that shouldn't go to these guys' heads because they've never beat the school up the street. So you got to beat them first if you're going to do anything in KCK. So hopefully these guys understand that, and hopefully they understand that they got a lot of work to do, and they are nowhere near the team that they can be by the time end of February hits.
Who are some other players outside of this group here that maybe younger or just people that's just stepped up and been contributors so far?
You got this here. Another starter that's not here is Tamai Johnson. He's a junior. Coming off the bench as of right now, you have Tyon Grant Foster, who's a sophomore. He actually led us in our sub-state game in scoring last year. He just flat-out scorer. And then you have Raekwon Frazier coming off the bench. You also have a freshman, went to West Middle School last year by the name of DeMonte Gall, who's he's a gym rat and he's a ball player, but he's still a freshman at the end of the day. That's about it that really contributes. Am I leaving anybody out, guys? Is that about it? That's about it.
You think?
Yeah, let's touch it. Notice it's the last few years, but a lot of, you're putting air quotes here because people can't see me, recruiting going on in the KCK league mainly. From a coaching perspective, I know you had coaches coming after some of your guys. What's kind of your thoughts on that?
You know what, man, it's KCK so small, we fight over the same small talent. Everybody wants to win at the end of the day. You know, nobody wants to lose. I don't think people go into the season wanting to lose. So everybody's picking up the same guys, to be honest with you. I've always personally thought, because I grew up in the 90s in KCK, wherever you live, that's where you go. I still believe that. But at the end of the day, sometimes you have to do what you have to do to win. Sometimes winning trumps everything, if that makes sense. So what do I think about it? I disagree with it, you know. But it's going to happen, you know. We lost a player to the school up the street, you know, and it is what it is, right? I gained a player a couple of years ago, you know, which that was the inevitable. That's, you know, that's some things are just meant to be. But it happens, you know what I mean? But here, let me voice this. Here's what I'm more displeased with. I'm more displeased with our city guys going outside our district to play basketball. Drives me nuts. And what even is nuttier is that city guys advise these kids to go to other schools. Don't go to a KCK school. They don't have good coaches there. They don't have good programs there. When these guys went to a KCK school, it drives me nuts. That doesn't make sense to me. You know, if you stay on 47th and Georgia, guess what? You should go to a KCK school. You shouldn't go to a school up north. You shouldn't go to Bonner Springs. You shouldn't go to Piper. That's just me coming from a KCK guy. After my freshman year, Aquinas wanted me, Bishop Miege wanted me, all these different schools wanted me, but I was a Schlagle guy. You know, I was going to Schlagle no matter what, you know. Birmingham can remember being in the 8th grade, going up watching D. Floyd and all these type of guys, and in our heads, that's where we were going to go no matter what, you know. So kids need to stay in the city. You know, if you went to West, if you went to Eisenhower, keep your talents in the city. Don't take it out the city. Especially don't listen to a guy that played in the city and he's telling you not to play in the city. That just doesn't make sense.
Okay, Coach. Any parting word before we go?
Hey, we could be good if these guys play defense. That's the when you guys come out and watch us play, if you see us guard, we'll win the game, period. You know, if we don't guard, we're letting guys beat us off the dribble, and if we're not boxing out, and if these two studs don't come to play, it's probably going to be an L. So it's really simple for us.
Okay, Coach. Wish you the best. Good luck this year.
Thanks for having us, guys.